Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 157. Here we are in, the 15th of July. So we are halfway through July already. And with me, as always, just maybe in a different location this time, is Mr. Casey Green, first of all, from the Washington, D.C. area. How are you today, sir?
Doing pretty well.
Excellent, excellent.
No software updates today.
No, it's Wednesday. You never know.
It is Wednesday.
And also joining us as regular, Mr. Patrick Connor joins us from some wonderful green, lush area.
That's right. I decided to try this from outside today. So I'm on a different headset, and it may or may not work. We'll see how it goes. So hello, Tesla Life. We are here to bring you a future that's free from fossil fuels.
Awesome, awesome. Yes, we are indeed. We have got a absolute ton of news, as is no surprise to anybody. But we're going to start the show off with a public service announcement. If anyone follows Elon Musk on Twitter, as well as a number of other high-profile Twitter users, you've probably noticed that he's been asking for Bitcoin to be sent, that he will double and send you back double. Well, of course, his account has been hacked today, along with a number of other high-profile Twitter users, and a number of people have been duped into probably tens of thousands of dollars sent, most likely offshore, or who knows where it went. But Twitter's investigating. They're trying to shut down the problem, and they also indicated that Elon probably will not be able to tweet with his account until this mess is figured out. So I did notice a number of tweets that came across this afternoon. I wasn't paying complete attention. I saw one of them and I said, that just does not look right.
And Bitcoin by its nature is no recourse.
Right.
Apparently 7 Kanye fans have lost quite a bit of money within minutes of the tweet going up.
Okay, if someone contacts you on social media of any form or even email and says, hey, send me some Bitcoins and you'll get something, that's a scam. It doesn't even matter who it's from or what they're promising. If they want your Bitcoin, they are trying to scam you. Yeah, and even if it's someone you trust, it might be a hacked account.
Yeah, make sure it's the real store. I mean, they're not going to solicit it from you. You will have already been in their store trying to buy a Tesla, trying to buy an Xbox game. Bill Gates and Elon Musk aren't going to go out and ask you for the money. Yes, they would like it, but they don't need it that badly.
Right, yes. They're not in the bill collection marketing department or the bill finance department.
That's right. Yeah, they've switched titles. In their spare time, they call people and ask for money. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it sad that I'm thinking if you fell for this, you probably deserve to lose it? Because maybe it's a life lesson and you paid that price, and I hope you learn something from it.
Well, I hope they learn.
I'm not being very sympathetic, but that's okay.
Well, there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing they can do about it. So yeah, I hope they learn their lesson.
Yeah, like you're not going to most likely get that money back. So you better take something from the expenditure that you made. So
that's as good as cash to the guy with the vest full of Rolexes.
Well, at least with the guy with a vest full of Rolexes, you got something. You got the big Rolex. You know,
Rolex
you got
with the extra X.
Exactly.
Turn the wrist screen.
Yeah, you can tell your friends, look at my Rolex X.
My Rolex with 3 X's in the name. Yes. Oh man.
Rolex, yes.
Well, the first real story that came to us this week was one that people have been waiting for quite some time, a modification that's going to be being introduced at a future update, which of course is blind spot cameras are going to be coming to our screens. So you'll be able to see an image of the blind spot when you use your signal to change lanes. and apparently it's going to appear on screen as you're signaling, or once the signal's pressed. I'm not sure how long it'll stay there. The details have not been divulged, but we have been told that yes, using the Tesla current cameras, we'll be able to show the blind spot on the screen. So that'll be definitely a plus.
Yeah, a good way to visualize this is to think of what the current Hondas do when you turn on the signal and they have that camera. We don't know if we're going to get that overlay or anything else like that, but it's a start.
Yeah, it is a start. Yeah. Yeah, one of the cool things I did like in the Leaf was that surround view that it had when you were parking, and other cars have that too. I hope that Tesla gets that pretty soon. That would be nice.
Yeah,
I mean, they
360 bird's eye view is really nice.
Yeah,
they've got enough cameras to do it. There'll be a little bit of a blind spot near the nose of the car, but I mean, the sonar covers that already anyway, and I'd rather have something than nothing. And there were some folks complaining about the side view. I'm guessing they don't have any of the current series of updates, because the side view looks completely down the side of the car as well as into the next lane. It's not perfect, but it's better than running over a motorcyclist or some car that's been camped in your blind spot for the last 3 miles.
That's right. Yeah, those guys that like to just hang around in that blind spot.
It's the worst.
Hopefully, this will address some of that. Absolutely. Anything is progress moving forward that way. That's good. Our next story indicates it's one of several announcements we got this week about upcoming dates. But Neuralink is going to have an update coming in August, the 28th, where they're going to give us an update. It's been almost a year since the previous update that Elon had given us. And they've got apparently some extra news to let us know about, or show us what direction they've been heading in for the past 10 or 11 months. And I, for one, and certainly I was very interested in what they were speaking about in the first address. It'll be interesting to see if they've progressed, or if they've got some tests that they're willing to show what results they have. So that'll be fun to watch for.
Yeah, I'd love to be the first or second batch of normies. By that, I do mean like the initial test group is going to be folks who could use it to return to full function. So say they've got a
traumatic brain injury of some sort.
Well, traumatic brain injury or a motor disorder, anything like that. And it's true, they need it. They need it more than we do to play around, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, I really like the aspect that this could help people that have serious health problems. If you have, quadriplegia, or who knows what this Alzheimer's, who knows what this could help in the future. And it's really great. And I think that's the place that it needs to focus first. This whole being able to send thoughts telepathically, or being able to merge with AI. Okay, yeah, that's great. It's fun sci-fi, neat to talk about, but that we're so far from that at this point. Let's make incremental progress on real problems before we start talking about science fiction.
Absolutely. Even just the plain mapping of what is, that's where a lot of questions exist. What is the mapping that's there to get in, or to connect to, in order to do motor functions, to do blindness, to do other things that can be done. And as Patrick said, all of humankind has always been an incremental progress. Start with a base, a foundation, and then you build rooms and floors above it on a solid foundation. So definitely makes sense completely.
Yeah, so to give you a clue of where I stand on this, my vehicle's name is Tachikoma, which is from Ghost in the Shell. So
So
you're all ready to get jacked.
Casey's already on the implant list. Just waiting. Well, speaking of Casey, he's got a story for us about Volvo. What's happening with Volvo and Tesla, Casey?
That's a good question. The stories are all out of order.
But I missed one. I'll be back to that one. Don't worry.
Volvo is, they have purchased a Tesla Model Y. They're the first ones in Europe, and they're going to be stripping it down, of course.
So they would have bought it in the United States then, right?
It sounds like it.
Yeah,
It sounds like they piloted it over, and it's got the U.S. power supply and everything. But I'm guessing combine that with Sandy Monroe, and they've got everything they need to get what they want to know for their Polestar 2.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting that it was shown heading or in Europe, I guess. We didn't get a picture of it in the plane like we did the Germans when they took two Model 3s and shipped them from Newark. But this Y is there, and what was interesting was that Elon commented on the story to someone on Twitter before his account was hacked, and had indicated that, you know what, Volvo probably would want to wait until Giga Berlin is producing the Y, because that is the one that you're going to want to have, indicating that it is going to be an engineering marvel compared to the current one. So probably something to do with the die casting of the single part for the back end, the reduction of parts, maybe some other goodies that Giga Berlin is going to be producing in the Model Y as well. But yeah, I'm sure Volvo was not going to wait until Giga was built. They'd much rather get their hands on what they need to catch up with now.
Yeah, they need both. They need both.
Yeah.
Because...
Yeah, who am I to argue with Elon Musk? But Volvo should not wait another minute. They need to do everything they can to learn from the advances that Tesla has made in the current edition of the Model Y. There's tons of stuff they can learn from that. And kudos to them for doing this, because this is in some way acknowledging that Tesla has done things that they don't understand or they don't know or they need to replicate in some way. And this is going to help advance their vehicles. So this is awesome. Good for them. And maybe Musk just wants them to buy another one later.
Can you imagine Tesla or Volvo ordering their second one and using their own referral code? Because they want those supercharger miles, I'm sure, just like everyone else.
They got to get the drawing for a Roadster. Maybe they'll win it.
That would be terrible. That would be terrible.
Oh man, that's good. That's good. Another milestone reached this week. Supercharger stations worldwide reach over 2,000 locations. So this is the actual service sites, which could have multiple superchargers at them, typically an average of 8, I believe. And now there's 2,000 of these stations across the world. So that's a big milestone. And of course, if you've watched the evolution of the superchargers as they have increased year after year in the 3 different regions of the world, it is remarkable to see the growth that has happened. I know that we've touched upon it a number of times. Casey, of course, does a number of walkthroughs of superchargers, rating them, what they provide, what they don't provide, how good they are. And in my neck of the woods, Canada has just basically completed a cross-country supercharger network, and they continue to grow throughout the city centers. And Patrick, in your neck of the woods, they're growing around Portland, Oregon, quite a bit. There's a number that are under construction and being built.
Right. Yep. There's one right here, not too far from where I live, by Highway 26. It's going to be put in pretty soon. They've already got permits for it, and Tesla's really smart about this. They have their destination charger network. They have superchargers. The superchargers have evolved. There was V1, V2, and now V3. And on top of that, they've added the urban superchargers. So if you are in a multi-family dwelling and you need to charge somewhere else every day, you can do that without degrading your battery significantly. So they really have the full spectrum of everything from level 2 to 250 kilowatt. And you can pick the one that's right for what you're doing that day or where you're staying or you're road tripping or not. And that's what we need. This is one of Tesla's biggest moats, in my opinion. I know Musk doesn't like the term moats, but having a reliable charging network is a huge plus. I don't think I could drive across the country with any other vehicle without being a member of multiple networks, and then probably still running into a place where they have one and it's either blocked, in use, or broke down. And with Tesla, you just plug in. You don't have to swipe some card. You don't have to scan some app, and it just works. It's so much more convenient.
Yeah, and it's rarely a whole site down. Usually that takes a natural disaster or vandalism to take a whole site out. And
Right.
And even so, it's typically got another one nearby. And as Mark touched on, that that's 2,000 sites. It's not 2,000 handles. The sites range from a minimum of 2 stalls to, I think the maximum is currently 50, 55, not 55, 50, in the 50 range, in a multiple of 2. And so that makes 18,000 handles. What?
Yeah.
Yep, that's a ton. Absolutely. And they show no sign of slowing down. If you're keeping track of it, there are constructions and permits going up virtually every day. There's a new one being posted somewhere in the world. So that's always fun to watch and see new ones popping up locally and places that you've been previously. It's very interesting to watch.
2 just popped up around me. I did a video on one, and the other one, they hadn't removed the gates, so I couldn't get to it. So,
yeah, there was a lull at the end of last year and early this year, and I was worried that Tesla had decided that they didn't need to build as many and that they were ramping it down. And I'm so happy that that was not the case. They need to keep ramping it up. There are more cars out there on the road every day. The volume of cars they're shipping is increasing. So they need to keep this program going, and it's really great to see it kick back up. And we're going to talk about charging speeds a little bit later. That matters too.
Yep.
It totally looked to me like they were sending them all up Mark's way to test them out in the cold weather, as well as train the Giga Buffalo folks on trying to keep up with the naming scheme. The Giga Buffalo folks with how to actually assemble these stations.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, with that, another announcement came out this week as well. This, of course, is for Battery Day and Shareholder Meeting. They will be held at the same spot on the same day, Fremont, California, at the factory on September the 22nd. So we now have a date for Battery Day. Now, we've had one in the past, and it's been delayed, but it looks like this is a little more solid. They're actually hosting it at the factory site, as opposed to before it was in Mountain View at a facility. So this will be their own facility, and again, it nothing has been said about how many people will be there, if there will be a large audience. Certainly, it will be simulcast, I'm sure, as they do almost all events. But it'll be interesting to see what amount of people appear at this particular event, especially since the C19 is alive and well, if not gaining steam in the U.S. So it's certainly a touchy subject in California as well as the rest of the U.S. But we're hopeful that this time the event will happen with or without people. I think it's got to happen at this point. I wouldn't delay it any further. There's no real light at the end of the tunnel as to things are going to be much better in 3 weeks. So it's something that we'll have to see hopefully on the 22nd.
We're number 1 in the world.
You don't want to be number 1 in this particular race.
No, but speaking of the shareholder, I think in the past you only had to have 1 share to be able to attend this. And now that they're going to have limited capacity because they don't want to have too many people there, I wonder if they've increased that number. I'm not sure how that's...
Qualified shareholders. But they didn't specify what qualified is. Is it the usual 1 share, or is it a certain criteria in addition to your 1 share?
It's 1 share and a very special skill testing question.
Yeah, I've been a shareholder since IPO day, so I should qualify. I don't have a lot, but I've had it for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, we are certainly excited to hear about Battery Day. There's been so much hype about what this could be, what the pieces of it could be, what the possibilities are. I can hardly wait to hear what their bag of tricks is on Battery Day.
Speaking of the 22nd, next week, on July 22nd, we've got our earnings call for quarter two.
That's right.
Are we going to delay for this one, or are we going to try and go through it?
It's on a Wednesday as well, right?
They always seem to do it right at the same time as our show.
Yeah. Well, so we'll probably divide up the job and collect what information we can, and maybe Patrick will join us partway through again as he did last time, and then we can keep our regular schedule.
I like that.
Okay. Sounds
All right.
good.
That's on-air planning, people. We're just planning this right now.
I don't know if work might get in the way, though. That starts anyway. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll work on that.
I'll put a ear in on the on the phone if they let me this time. Last time the phone didn't want to participate. It let me sign in and it didn't give me any audio.
Oh.
Well, while we're sitting at this point, if you are watching this show and you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up at this point. That helps us get us in the eyes of viewers. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It's free, and again, it helps support the show, and we would really appreciate it. And with that said, our next story is some reduced money for the Model Y. So we had an announcement of, actually not an announcement, it was just found on the website by a number of people that $3,000 reduction had happened in Model Y and a number of the variants. And that had rolled out overnight and was published on the website. So what is going on here, guys? We've got a car that from the sales figures recently, it looks like Tesla's selling a good amount of vehicles still. But there's now been a price reduction. Is this due to efficiencies, as some articles have indicated, or is this a demand lever, as Patrick likes to call them? Is there something that's going on here that we could speculate about?
I would say it's likely both, because Tesla has forever said they want a 20 to 25% profit margin on their vehicles, and they've proven that they're not afraid to cut the price. I mean, the car that I bought, that they had a sticker of over 6 figures, you can now, the maximum you can spend on it is 99 and change. It's more car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was a little annoyed that they're like, oh, 3,000 off, and only 1,000 on the performance package. But when you look at what they did with the performance package, it's not only 1,000. They included the performance upgrade package, so you get the big wheels, you get the spoiler and the brakes. So it still is just about a $3,000 cut, even on the sports model.
Yeah.
And they being the media, not, because obviously Tesla didn't say anything. It just dropped on price.
Right. It just dropped on the website. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is exactly in line with Tesla's mission of advancing electric vehicle, accelerating the advent of electric vehicles. And that includes bringing the price down. I don't think it was, they can't sell them. No, they're selling every one that they make. And they're not even shipping them to Europe or China yet. So if they had a glut of cars, they could have just done that. So this is Tesla fulfilling their mission. And that's awesome. That's exactly what we want to see. We want to see vehicles getting more affordable. As part of this, they also dropped their shortest range vehicle. And but like Oregon has a program, an incentive program where you can get up to $5,000 off the price of a new EV. It's 2 programs, $2,500 each, depending, and you can stack them. So the vehicle has to have a base price that is under $50,000 to qualify. Well, even with Tesla dropping their lowest end, they still qualify for this Oregon program because the cheapest Model Y now is $49,990. So that's great. And if you can get state or local or utility incentives on top of that, that makes it an even better deal. You'll save on fuel costs. So it's awesome. I'm glad to see they're doing this. Bringing the price down is exactly what we want them to do. And for people that are saying, there's Tesla's got a lot of haters out there, the Teslax, and the Q folks, and they're gonna say, oh, this is because there's no demand, and just like they've said there's no demand the whole time, and they've been wrong. They've said that the Tesla's factories are fake and will never produce cars, and they were wrong. So if they're saying this is a demand problem, again, they're just wrong.
Well, there's no doubt, based on the numbers that Tesla has put out over the past year, that they're selling everything they make. There's no question about that. And I like your point, Patrick, about if there was a glut of cars that they had, they could just ship them off to Europe. There's, change the license plate holder and off they go. So it certainly makes sense in that way. And we have seen price drops previously with the Model 3, and as Casey mentioned, with the X and S. So the cars do get better. They do get more range. They do get more features. And sometimes there is a price drop as well on top of that. So that's...
But if you see the one you like,
yeah,
grab it, because there've been price raises too.
That should be the motto of this show, because we have said that I don't know how many times, that and it's painfully true each time. If you see something you like and you can get it at that time, get it while you can, because it may change overnight, as we've seen this week.
Yeah, and what we saw with the removal of the standard range rear-wheel drive. From my understanding, in the very beginning, they were talking about a long-range rear-wheel drive, and then it disappeared and it became long-range all-wheel drive only.
Yeah.
But now that vehicle is back. Long-range rear-wheel drive is the new base model.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, and this makes up for the increased price of Autopilot full self-driving package.
Yes, it does.
It went from $7,000 to $8,000, and now you can buy. You're getting better value for money, and that's what we all want. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was also annoyed by all the complaints that it went up to $8,000. Like
that was a surprise. Like,
right, you had plenty of warning.
They were only broadcasting it for like 2 months, 3 months ahead of time, so it's not a surprise. But you get 100 people in the room, you're always going to have a few complainers. It doesn't matter what you do.
So when that's funny. Next increase the price, it'll finally be what they promised me. The price is only going to go up in Autopilot. Then it immediately went down for over a year.
Right, but I mean, the price went up and you had people complaining, and now the price has gone down and you have people complaining.
There were more people complaining when the price went down. I was surprised to see that. I was like, you guys just don't want to just buy it and get over it? I mean, I paid my money, oh well, but you guys are going in. Come on.
If you made a deal, you got a vehicle that you love for that money, don't keep shopping. Enjoy the car you have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You don't want to revisit the page after you bought your car.
Live for today. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They're always innovating. There will always be something new. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and that same rule goes for traditional auto. I mean, they're always running specials and sales, and so you get your car, enjoy your deal. Don't ever look back until it's time for your next one.
Yep.
Next, Giga Shanghai has reached a milestone. There are already over 50,000 Model 3s produced. So they are well on their way, and they keep pumping the cars out. We saw last month that Tesla had gained even more market share in China than they had previously had. I believe they had a 23% of all EVs sold in the country at that particular time. They had a 35% increase from what they had produced the previous month. So it looks like things are ramping nicely, and the cars are rolling off the assembly line and being bottomed up without issue. So that's great. And of course, that is the next plant that will start to produce the Model Y at some time in the near future, as that second line has, the structure has been completed, and they're now moving in equipment to make that line, and the Model Ys will start to roll out. So Giga Shanghai is really motoring along, and that kind of leads into a bit of a rumor that hit just last week as well, was that there's talks that Tesla is thinking about a second plant in China. So different city, different location, different province, But there again, rumor. No idea if it's true. But it did, of course, affect the price of the shares as they were skyrocketing. That kind of added a little fuel to the fire. But it is it's nothing confirmed here. But that has come up on our radar, and I'm not surprised based on the output of Shanghai and the adoption of Tesla in China.
So I'm looking at this screenshot of Giga Shanghai Phase 2. And I'm curious how Germany plans to beat the construction speed of Giga Shanghai with Giga Berlin.
Nobody, Casey, is going to beat the Chinese at building a plant.
I mean,
the
that's what
Germans can say
German
what they want.
Or?
The Germans can say what they want, but they are not going to touch the speed of the build at Shanghai. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean, because
I would not.
They're
Yeah.
almost done with Shanghai 2, and Giga Berlin is still. I mean, it's motoring along, but I don't see how they're going to touch the speed unless it's just German.
Do you remember? You remember in the early days when it was a mud field, and like it was like after the celebration they had with the red pillar. Yeah. The next day they must have had 100 cranes on site erecting steel. And I've never seen that many cranes at a construction site all working on different parts of it at the same time. And we're not going to see that in Germany. I can almost guarantee it. The
only other time we saw anything like that was their C-19 hospital. I was like,
yeah, that's correct. That was
went
just
up in a week.
fast, if not faster. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of motivation to do that too. Yeah, absolutely. But great. We'll have to see if those things progress, and we'll definitely be watching for the Model Y to start showing up.
I bet you the story will change. They'll say, "Oh, no, we didn't say Berlin. We said we're going to beat Midwestern U.S."
Yeah, we didn't say that. You just mistook us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know that is just a rumor for a second factory in China, but China is going to be one of their biggest markets, and if the U.S. is going to have 2 or 3 factories, depending on how you count Buffalo, it would make sense to have a second one in China, at least a second one. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yep.
He said a minimum of 1 per continent, so there'll be more.
Well, we're going to share an image here, which was taken from a Tesla video and posted on their website. Here we go. You guys should be able to see that. Mm-hmm. What we've got, of course, is the Model Y with the 3rd row installed and the belts off to the side. We were talking about this pre-show, but you can notice the hinges down here at the bottom. The big hinge for the 2 seats here, and of course hinges on both sides of the seat, and of course the seat belt placement. This definitely indicates that the seats will be forward facing. There's going to be no backwards facing, as Sandy Munro had speculated early in the teardown of the Model Y. But this is definitely indicating it's going to be forward facing. So that rumor can disappear for now, because it's definitely forward facing based on the hinges.
Yep. And as I was saying before the show, this image has been on the Tesla site, tesla.com/Model Y, for over a year. So I don't understand how this rumor got legs and ran, because it's like they didn't take it down in over a year.
Was it Sandy Munro? Was it all him that pushed that rumor forward?
It can't have been just all him. I mean, something happened.
His videos had a lot of views, and he showed himself sitting in it in a way that looked like it would work. So they didn't go that way, and that's good, because sitting backwards is not exactly the most comfortable way to ride. But I can see why people would have thought Sandy knew what he was talking about. He has a lot of credibility. It didn't turn out to be accurate this time.
Yeah. Well, as Sandy showed, it is the safest way to, not just Sandy, but like the original rocket sled showed that sitting rearward facing to the direction of travel is the safest way in a forward collision. But
right.
we don't sit that way anywhere in the world. So,
except in old jumper seats inside of station wagons from the 70s.
And that was an option on the Model S for quite a while.
It was.
That's true. Yeah.
So did we lose that option before the sunroof or after?
I don't remember when.
I do not know that. No, I don't know. If you as a viewer know that, please send us a comment in YouTube and let us know. That would be great. Casey's got our next story, and it involves charging and an upgrade of sorts. Casey, go ahead.
This is one of my favorite Tesla topics, supercharging. So recently, another silent website update for the Model S and Model X pages. The max supercharging rate has been quietly updated to 250 kilowatts. It had previously been upgraded to 225 kilowatts for some cars, and all the Model S's and X's, in theory, that haven't had a cap, if you will, like my car, they can charge at 200 kilowatts. The most I saw was 180, and then at this latest batch of software updates, I've been right at 118, 110, depending on the station, and it'll hold it till 50%. But I don't know if that's the new charge profile, or if I'm in supercharging jail. But this did require new hardware, so unless your car is like factory fresh, you're not going to see 250 ever. The 250 is just like on the Model 3s. It's theoretical. You might touch it. You might get really close, like 240, 247 or something. On the Model 3, it's around 1,000 miles of charging per hour. On the Model X, it's going to be significantly lower because it's a much heavier, less fuel-efficient car, but it will still be noticeable. Because of the way that the charging is set up, you want to arrive pretty low. I found on my Model X, it doesn't, whether it's capped or uncapped, it doesn't really kind of hit the peak until around 20%, but I have to start at 10%-ish. Everybody says, start at 5, but I find that if I start at 5, I actually get a slower charge. But that is an important metric, the 5 to 80%, to see how well an electric car can get you back on the road.
Yeah.
Yep. And so like I said, the part they needed was Elon said thicker wires.
Thicker wires. Yeah.
Thicker wires. So that's not clear if that's the cables inside the charge port to the battery, or if that's the fusible links from the battery cells to the charge plates, if you will. Wires. Thicker wires.
Wires. That's all it required. Thicker wires. So that, of
that was
course,
to reduce heating. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, of course, indicates as to why the newer cars have it. They replaced actual hardware, and the new cars coming out with the new hardware have that capability. So it's wasn't given as to specifically when a date that the cars started to go out with that thicker wiring. But I'm sure that'll leak out eventually. But right now, we're kind of just knowing they're newer cars.
Curious if those are the same cars that got the 225, or if those are separate. Because that would be interesting if they had the 225 and they immediately, this isn't good enough. Here's 250s. That way.
I wonder if it was
flagship is not underneath our
I wonder if it was a test. The original one says this should be good enough, and you know what? If we spent the extra money and put different hardware in the vehicles, we get 250 for sure, and that's what they decided to do. So
it only makes sense.
We'll see if that story comes out during Battery Day, possibly.
I hope so, but it only makes sense because if you spend, if you get the max Model S, Model X at $80,000-$90,000, and then your friend goes and gets a Model 3 for 50, and they can charge faster than you, and they keep telling you how important the flagships were to the history of the company, and then it's like, prove it, and now they have.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. That there have been several people either speculating that Tesla's going to stop making the S and X altogether, or that they're going to do a big refresh on them. And so they can't just leave them in this state where they just keep making the same vehicle. And I know they've done things like Raven and made other improvements. So this is just one more hint that they're going to keep innovating here. They're going to keep making these cars better. They're not going to just discontinue the S and X. So that's a great point. You should, if you're paying the premium amount, you should be getting all the best features, not something that's half the price and charges faster. That's ridiculous,
Exactly.
and I'm glad they fixed it.
Yeah, and it kind of keeps up with Elon's promise too, because like you said, you're buying the premium. I mean, Elon has always said, the S and X are our premium, they're our flagship, they have everything first. Okay, maybe not first, but they should be best. And
Yes.
And this also goes to show Elon's other promise that hey, they're not going anywhere. So this proves, modernizing them proves that they're not going anywhere. And he also says we're not going to do a refresh. This proves that they can still get stuff done without refreshing the car. I don't know if they're going to count the Plaid as a refresh or not. The public will. Obviously, Tesla's probably not going to count it as such. And being, an auto company, yes, they will eventually do it, and they call it as such or not? Who knows? But I bet you it'll be just like the refresh for the facelift, where one day they just show up looking different.
Right. Yeah, all these updates we just talked about were silent updates where they made changes on their website. It wasn't a press release or something else. It's just rolling out improvements.
Yeah,
exactly.
Kyle did that. I'm going to try that on my next Supercharger.
Yeah, so this photo is a bit of a Tesla tip that was found on Twitter. Kyle from Out of Spec Motoring was cross-country charging and discovered that in the hot, humid weather that his car would back down based on the heat that was being, tracked from the car, knowing what the heat was, what the cable was like. And he found that putting a damp, cool rag around the handle of the charger got the car to continue charging at a faster speed. So I noticed that Casey had commented on that Twitter through the week, and thought it was interesting that they were doing that. And in the background, you can see Kyle's significant other out there helping to clean up the supercharger. So kudos to them for not only finding a Tesla tip, but keeping things clean on the supercharger route.
Absolutely. And the way this works is the V1, V2, and V3 stations all have black handles, and most of them sit in the hot sun all day. The V3 can actually do something about it because it has liquid-cooled cables, and the cable is connected to the handle, so it can kind of manage the temperature a little bit better. But the V1 and V2 stations, that handle gets hot enough that the car thinks that the handle is on fire, and it slows down. And so this trick allows it to dissipate more of that heat, which allows you to get a more normal charge speed. And somebody asked, "Oh, is that safe?" And I explained to them that yeah, these get rained on while you're charging, so it's the same concept. And Kyle or somebody else said, "Oh yeah, that's true." And that was pretty cool. So that person,
yeah, interesting Tesla tip. So if you come across something, feel free to share it with us. You can find us on Twitter at the Tesla Life. You can find us on Facebook, the Tesla Life #1, and feel free to post and share what you find out there for Tesla tips, and we might share it on the show as well. Yeah. Next story: Tesla market cap passes VW, Toyota, and Honda combined. It was an amazing week for the Tesla stock. It is stratospheric at this point. It's been growing in leaps and bounds. What's the stock price today, guys? I haven't even looked. You have any idea where we're sitting?
Around 1550 last I saw.
Okay. So again, so it's come back a little bit from its all-time high, which did it reach 1700?
Yes, it was over 1700.
Okay, so it's again, this is many factors all rolled in one. This is Wall Street being Wall Street. We really don't know how it's done. If we knew how it's done, we wouldn't be on this show. We'd be on our own private islands, just enjoying ourselves for the rest of our lives. But
show, that's for sure.
This is something that is just it's great for the Tesla community to watch this. It's fun to see. I can imagine the pain a number of the shorts are having at this point, trying to cover the margins. It's unbelievable, really, to watch just thinking about this back, 6 months ago when the stock was around, $300, $350, somewhere in that range. And we were going, you know what, that's fairly high, really. It's above its normal, what we were thinking was normal. And now we're sitting at 1,500, 5 times that amount. Is remarkable to see that their market cap has surpassed the 3 major automakers combined. It's shocking. But it's just part of the new C19 life. Are they seeing that many different automakers are not selling cars as many? There's a number of stockpiled cars that aren't being sold. Are the legacy companies coming to the reality, or the people that are backing them with money coming to the reality that there is a serious problem with demand for gasoline cars compared to electric? Is this all rolled into this one big thing? Most likely it's coming from many different factors that make this all up. But what a week. Unbelievable.
And while we're comparing stacks of cash, that put Elon ahead of Warren Buffett.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So it's amazing. We'll have to see where this roller coaster goes. Is it at midpoint? Is it going to double up? At this point, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even hazard to guess based on the ride we've had so far. It could go higher. It wouldn't surprise me anymore. I think the ceiling has been broken. I don't know where the ceiling is. I have no idea.
Yeah, one of the companies, I don't remember which one, just raised their price target to 2,232 or something like that. So there are certainly people out there who think it could go higher.
And then another one just dropped theirs to $800 or $500, something like that. But oh no, they said $1,000 lower than where it is today. But this is usually one of those ones that's like helping them sell the shares, which is amazing to me. That's like they keep shooting it and then turning around and trying to help sell the offerings. It's like, come on, guys.
So again, we're not a stock advice show. It's we're watching out of pure entertainment. Some of us do own some stock, but I don't think we're movers and shakers on this show at all. What we're doing is just kind of enjoying the ride from a fair distance.
It's just amusing to me that the experts are disagreeing like wildly. 2,300, 2,800.
Hasn't that always been the case? Oh, yeah. Tesla has always been a divider of analysts as to what the stock is going to do. There seems to be as many people saying it was going up as there were going down. It was such a split down the line. It was amazing. And it still continues.
Even within one announcement. We rate this stock a hold, raises price to $300. We rate this stock a sell, lowers price to, or no, they did the opposite with the number of what they said to do. They said buy it and drop it, and sell it and raised it. It's like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah. Yeah. The stock is, the analysts that were on it were initially auto analysts. And that is not the way that this is being valued at all. Like Musk has said, you really need to look at Tesla as 12 different startups. Yeah. And if you're saying, oh, well, they sell 1% of the cars of some automaker, so they should have 1% of the market cap, you're going to completely misunderstand this company. Yeah. So, yeah, it's really interesting to watch. And like you said, that there's a lot of misunderstanding, which kept the door open for a long time to buy the stock at $200, $300, $400, $500 and make a significant amount of money. So is that over yet? Probably not. Kathy Wood, ARK Invest, has a price target of $7,000 5 years out. And yeah, and if she's right, then at this price, you still make money. So who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Maybe she's wrong on the low end.
Right.
Could be.
Right.
Could be. It wouldn't surprise me. Our last story of the evening is an update from what we talked about a couple of weeks ago about Travis County in Texas, a suburb of Austin, where, of course, the Gigafactory is one of the best bets. Go ahead.
Before we say what happened, I want to remind you guys, last week I said, is Texas trying to lose this thing? Go ahead, Mark.
Right. So Travis County had their, I guess, the county representatives get together. There was one representative that said that we should delay this. We should look at more details. We should talk about the tax incentive more. And they put it, three other representatives put it to the vote at that time and said, we're pushing it forward at this point. That one representative that wanted to delay, he abstained from the vote. And the three voted it forward that they were accepting the incentive package that they were offering Tesla to build a Gigafactory in their area for an investment that Tesla will be putting in of $1.1 billion. 5,000 employees is the number that's been tabled for the Gigafactory to start. And that's what the county has based their incentive package on. Of course, Tesla staying for a longer period of time, beyond 10 years, expanding. There are many other things that could possibly increase incentives or make it change somewhat. But based on what Tesla has outlined, that package has passed, and it's been forwarded to Tesla that they've got the green light based on what was agreed upon.
Right. So all we need now is for the governor to make sure that Tesla can actually sell cars in the state of Texas.
That would be a big thing. Absolutely. Yeah. So I got to believe that Tesla is itching just to get this going, because they've talked about how they want to get production going of the Cybertruck, and the sooner the better. So I wonder if we will hear an announcement in this next week based on that tax incentive package being accepted, if Tesla will start to move or not. It'll be interesting to see what the timing is going to be.
Maybe so. But the other important thing to note here is that Oklahoma's package is already approved. And it's in the law. So I'd be curious to see where this goes.
That was one nice thing that Tulsa kept trying to court Tesla. That made it so that Austin couldn't just take their time and like that one representative wanted to delay it. No, you delay and you're going to miss the boat. And maybe that's what he wanted. But you can't just delay. If there's someone else trying to court them, they're going to move. This is not a company that sits around and waits for things. And they want to have the Cybertruck out next year. You have to build the whole factory, or at least enough of it to start assembling the trucks. Yeah. So you can't just wait for bureaucrats. You've got to move. And exactly. Wherever it lands, like you said, Mark, there's going to be jobs. And then there's going to be people that are moving there, and there's going to be home building to support them, and they're going to spend money at stores, and they're going to be paying taxes, and all that adds. And if the company is only asking to offset the investment that they're making, like you said, they're going to be spending $1 billion to build the factory. So if you're getting several hundred million in tax breaks, you still didn't even break even. So that's yeah, it's only going to be a good thing for the whole county. So I hope they go fast, whichever one it is.
And Tesla still uses suppliers. They don't use as many as a lot of the other OEMs do. So you've got not just the employees of Tesla coming in, buying houses, spending money, paying taxes. You've got all of their tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 suppliers that are going to be in the area.
Remember what happened in Nevada when the Gigafactory was built? All those extra businesses popping up all around the Gigafactory to support it. Selling land, bringing in employees, people buying food and houses, all compounded based on that first plant going in and all the other businesses supporting it. So that will definitely happen wherever it's built, whether it's Austin or Tulsa.
And then you've got to get the product out and the supplies to build the product in. So the whole route going out and into the city, the main routes are going to also get some knock-on effect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we will see. Interesting. Again, will something happen in the next week? Let's take a poll. In 7 days, do you think we will hear where the Gigafactory will be placed? Casey?
I give it an 80% chance that we will.
Okay, good. Patrick, what do you think? 7 days.
At the shareholder meeting would be a great place for them to announce it. So I'm with Casey. Probably yes.
Okay. I would say that I would think that it would be a fantastic PR move for Tesla to make the sooner the better. So I would say that I would believe they will make a move within 7 days.
Yeah, still Texas is to lose, but that would be the perfect like little cherry on the cake right before your lines are closed, blah blah blah. Call finish, and it goes back to music, or it clicks out. And Elon says, "It's in Oklahoma," or "It's in Austin," and then the line ends.
There'd be some Austin blues if he says Tulsa.
This is true, but the stock would go wild right into the aftermarket.
All right. Well, with that, Patrick, any parting news from the garden today?
Oh, yeah. I'm sitting outside. It's lovely out here. I might do this again at one of our future calls. So, yeah, this was cool. I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. And we're on Facebook and Twitter. And I occasionally blog at carswithcords.net. Check me out there. Thanks.
Fantastic. Mr. Green, any parting words from you?
Absolutely. You can find me at youtube.com/Casey Green. That's KACEYGREN. And I think we just put up, 3 videos? We had the software update video. Well, actually, technically 4. We had a 2.5-hour charging graph for the nerds. And then we had 2 V3 Supercharger reviews in the Northern Virginia area. And so you can check those out and give them a thumbs up if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Give Casey a subscribe if you haven't done it already.
You didn't charge for 2.5 hours, did you?
It was no longer. It was 3 stations, the full start to finish video charge.
I thought you meant like one charging session took that long. I was very confused.
I did have one take that long. It was it spent 5 minutes remaining at 100% for something like 45 minutes. So I'm guessing it was rebalancing my pack.
Wow.
But that's just running your air conditioner.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually they'll disconnect and run the air conditioner on me.
Well, with that, I'd like to say if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up at this point. Do a subscribe. That helps us out, supports the channel, and we would appreciate it. We'd like to thank Lee Moon for the music that we use every week. And tune in next week and find out what's going on in the Tesla life.
Yeah, if you scroll down under our video here and that button is red, click on it, turn it gray.
There you go. Good night, everyone. Have yourselves a fantastic week.
Stay safe. Stay charged.